to remind you what your fans did during the Super Bowl?
Did you miss us? I hope so, because we definitely missed you. This season of Hitting the Field is bound to be the best one yet, and it starts right now.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask. I just really hit the field. 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 Boy, I'm about to hit the field.
Welcome to Season 9. Yes, the Season 9 premiere of Hitting the Field. I'm Jaret Kappelman, the host and the man who pumps the brakes on our panelist hot takes. Speaking of panelists, we got 2 familiar faces on the show today. To my left, I have Tyler Fellerman. How are we doing today?
I'm feeling good, ready to be back.
That's great to hear. And on my right, I'm joined by John Anderson. John, how you doing?
I'm ready to lock and load.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Let's hit the field as we talk about yesterday's NFL action. Steelers and Saints fans are having a rough morning today after their quarterbacks left the game early with injuries. Ben Roethlisberger left in the second quarter of Pittsburgh's 28-26 loss to Seattle with an elbow injury, while Drew Brees bowed out early in the first half with a thumb injury as the Saints were blown out by the Rams. Brees is expected to be out for 6 weeks. According to ESPN's Adam Schefter, and this just in, NFL Network's Ian Rappaport is reporting that Big Ben is out for this season. But I gotta know, Tyler, which team's gonna miss their quarterback the most?
I mean, when you look at both teams, you gotta say the Saints. They went to the NFC Championship last year, and when you look at how both teams started this year, Pittsburgh's 0-2. Ben Roethlisberger has not scored a touchdown yet. I think when you're deciding which team's going to miss their quarterback most, it's got to be the Saints.
I agree. I mean, arguably they should have been in the Super Bowl last year. John, what do you think?
Just looking at those 2 teams, I would say the Steelers.
Okay.
In my opinion, because last season, Ben Roethlisberger had a phenomenal season, throwing over 5,000 passing yards. And since they traded away Josh Dobbs, who I think was a perfect backup, and the team will have to rely on Mason Rudolph. So we don't know if he's going to help them get to the playoff form or a Super Bowl contender, but we'll have to see.
Now, I want to touch on the Steelers. So we're going to say Big Ben, he hasn't scored. Do we think Big Ben's missing Antonio Brown at all? Like, you think any of that production is because AB's not there, or it's just because Big Ben's bad? Tyler?
I think it's a mix of things. I mean, he lost Le'Veon. We saw what he could do last year. You lose AB, you're just getting years and years older. Mix in some injuries. I mean, when you talk about Big Ben and Drew Brees, you don't ever talk about them missing games. I think maybe we are seeing the downfall of Ben Roethlisberger.
John, do you think this will be Big Ben's? Do you think we'll never see him in a Steelers uniform again?
We will have to see.
We'll have to see.
Numerous of quarterbacks have whenever they out for a season, they have the most question on their mind whether they should retire or play for another season. But like I said, we'll see.
Now, you guys, I mean, you said the Steelers, you said the Saints. I would have to say, like, the Steelers' offense was not scoring, and then Mason Rudolph comes in and he starts looking productive. The Saints, however, with Teddy Bridgewater, still looked productive. I mean, you look at the backup, Teddy Bridgewater and Mason Rudolph. Who do we think is going to have a bigger impact?
I mean, Rudolph did good against the Seahawks when he went in. The Seahawks also gave him very good field position with 2 fumbles, though. So when you're looking at Mason Rudolph, you don't have a very big sample size from him. He did score. He now has 2 more passing touchdowns than Ben Roethlisberger. But I want to see how he does next week, get a bigger sample size of him.
Okay.
I would
John,
say Teddy Bridgewater will have a big impact.
Okay.
Just based on the weapons that they have.
I agree.
Of course, you have Alvin Kamara, Latavius Murray, and then the wideouts. You have Michael Thomas, who is incredible.
He is.
But we're also going to be seeing Teddy Bridgewater maybe split time with Taysom Hill. I mean, we didn't see any Taysom Hill at quarterback last game when Drew Brees got hurt, but that could be something Sean Payton might want to throw in.
He's more like a wildcat.
Yeah.
Like how Tebow was.
But they did start using him more in the passing And Teddy Bridgewater was moving the ball last game, but scoring-wise, he didn't put up any points.
I was going to say, they didn't even get a touchdown yesterday. So you look at the production. I mean, yes, I think the Rams are a much better football team than, say, the Seahawks are right now. But in general, you look at just who moved the ball. I think Mason Rudolph just looked like he was more prepared to go in that game than Teddy Bridgewater was. Also, you look at it as who's played football more recent. Mason Rudolph, it's first NFL action, but Bridgewater hasn't really seen the field since,
Minnesota days.
2014, 2015. So my last question to you on this is going to be, do any of these teams make the playoffs with their quarterback out for a period of time? Tyler?
I think the Saints have a chance. I mean, Drew Brees, the Steelers, I think, are done. Ben Roethlisberger done for the season. I think the Ravens have that division, or the Browns have that division. The Saints, I think, losing Drew Brees for only a couple, 6 weeks?
It's 6 weeks is what the report is right now.
I think that's plenty of time for him to get back and be able to help this team make the playoffs.
John?
I would say the Saints.
The Saints are going to make
Saints,
playoffs?
because just looking at last season compared to this season, of course, everybody's seen they got screwed.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into the season, they're more hungry. And even when they losing Drew Brees for 6 weeks, compare Drew Brees out for like 6 weeks to Ben Roethlisberger out for a season. So they'll make it.
I don't know, because I just think the NFC North's a bit weaker, or the AFC North's a bit weaker. I mean, you saw the Steelers haven't won. The Browns looked terrible. The Ravens competed with a Cardinals team that I didn't think was that good. Actually, I think the NFC South is going to be competitive this year. So only time will tell, honestly. And your Bucks aren't looking too bad. We'll get onto that later. All right, we'll move on. Dolphins fans are left scratching their heads yet again after their second consecutive 40-point loss in as many weeks. As the first 2 games, the teams have been outscored 102-10.
Jesus.
It doesn't take a statistician to figure out that that's a bad stat. But on the flip side, Antonio Brown made his debut in the rout just days after a report surfaced that accused Brown of committing sexual assault. Brown's accuser, Brittany Taylor, is planning to meet with the NFL today as the league investigates this situation. John, what are your thoughts on the Brown saga and whether the Patriots actually need AB?
That's a great question. So Antonio Brown, to me, of course, he's an off-the-field distraction.
I agree.
He's more like a clown to me, in my opinion. But we're going to keep it professional. I feel like the situation that he has off the field with this trainer, he said, she said, but the most important thing is the truth. Mm-hmm. So we don't know what happened between them two. We don't know that between when he was in college, allegedly, and compared to now, so we don't know. So I'm just going to leave it as a no comment. Mm-hmm. And do the Patriots need AB? I mean, not really, but it gives them extra depth at the wide receiver position. Of course, Josh Gordon is back. You have Edelman and you have Dorsett, but adding AB, I think it will get them over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any team specifically needs AB, but everyone wants AB.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler?
I agree 100% with almost everything he just said. We definitely have to see what happens with the off-the-field stuff, and he has to take care of that. And I'm sure Bill Belichick doesn't want to deal with any of that. The fact that they need him, no. But they definitely want him. They definitely want him out there.
Yeah.
Adds to the wide receiver depth. I mean, Antonio Brown was arguably the best wide receiver last year.
Yes, and I think
Any
it's
team will take
showing in the
that.
Steelers' offense right now how valued he was. Plus, 12 points in my fantasy league yesterday, won my game. But, John, I want to touch on the Patriots' offense in general. I mean, AB, a distraction off the field, but also, if you think about on the field, it's going to draw two corners down the field. I mean, that can open up people for Dorsett, James White at the backfield. So do you think by adding AB, it makes the Patriots' other receivers shine more?
Yes, because you're taking the pressure off of course, Josh Gordon and Edelman, and, of course, James White. So you're taking the pressure off those players, and it's leaving Tom Brady to throw to those receivers or the dual running back that they have. So, yeah, it takes the pressure off.
Yeah. Tyler, I'm going to ask you, who do you think will lead the Patriots in receiving touchdowns this year?
Touchdowns? It would probably be AB if he stays with them throughout the whole year and is actually able to play 16 games, I would not be surprised if it was AB.
CAB. I mean, Tom Brady, allegedly they didn't intentionally just feed him the ball there, but realistically it looked like, hey, AB, welcome to the Patriots. Here you go. Here's 4 targets. Here's 4 catches. Here's a touchdown. But what I want to touch on, James White and Sony Michel, the running back duo. James White had 6 touches yesterday for 28 yards and a touchdown, and Sony Michel had 18 touches for 80 yards and a touchdown. You can't go wrong. James White has never fumbled a ball in his career. Sony Michel fumbled yesterday, cost me 2 fantasy points. But we'll move past that. And they also have Rex Burkhead. You have everything there. So are the Dolphins this bad, or are the Patriots that much better?
Dolphins are trash.
Okay, fair enough.
They're trash. Looking how they lost against the Ravens first game, and the Patriots. They're so bad, and I felt bad to all my Miami fans out there, but I'm sorry, your team is trash. Either sell the team or just fire the coach.
Sell the team, fire the coach. Tyler, will the Dolphins win a game?
I'm betting on 0-16, definitely.
Okay. Last time they came 1-15, beat the Ravens.
I was at that game.
Overtime.
That was the most hype I've ever seen that stadium.
What would you do? If let's say you were the owner right now of the Dolphins, what are you doing?
I'm going after Tua.
Firing the coach? What are you doing?
It's his first year. Let him go. He's getting rid of the people he doesn't want. He's putting in the people that he does want. It's obviously what they're doing. Obvious what they are doing. They're first in line for Tua.
So quickly, Rosen or Fitzpatrick, who should start the rest of the season?
Rosen.
We're for
Give
sure.
the young guy.
He almost got hurt yesterday. I was like, this is
because the offensive line is terrible.
worst case. They have to be the worst offensive line in the NFL.
They're worse than.
Got to be worse than Houston, and Houston's.
They're worse than Carolina.
Seattle's trying to take that worst offensive line job, but
who wasn't it a stat that Ryan Tannehill in his tenure for Miami was the most take quarterback, and then it was him and Deshaun Watson? Mm-hmm. All right. Well, only time will tell on that. Thank you, gentlemen, for your opinions. HTF fans, we have a Twitter poll open just for you. We want to know who you think will win tonight's Monday Night Football contest between the Browns and the Jets. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Hitting the Field and answer our poll. We'll reveal those results later in the show when we come back. We transition from the NFL to college football. Stick with us.
Jeffrey, attorney at law. Has your favorite team ever left you feeling sad, disappointed, or even a little angry? Don't you feel like you should be compensated for it? Just take a look at these real testimonials from my real clients. After Tyrod Taylor led the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, I was the happiest I'd ever been. And then the Bills traded him, and I wanted to die. But thanks to Dave, I found my will to live again. Yo, Kevin Durant's a bitch. When he said his mom was the MVP, I was so pissed. He put up 30 a game, not her. Same time, I knew my boy Dave would be able to get me some quick cash. Thanks, Dave Jeffrey. I've helped millions of people, and chances are I might be able to help you too.
I hate David Jeffries. My whole family died in a car crash, but he gave all my money away to a Saints fan because of some blown pass interference call. Thanks, Dav.
Aren't you mad when KD went to the Warriors?
Nah, that's pretty chill. Give me a call at 888-888-888, crying emoji, and I can fix your sports misery too.
Please call the number on your screen today if you are experiencing any grief, sadness, or even if another fan has hurt your feelings. All you have to do is provide your credit card number, the 3 silly digits on the back, and the expiration month and year. This is not a scam. Doop de doop.
Welcome back to Hitting the Field. I'm still joined by Tyler Fellerman and John Anderson. Well, let's talk this weekend's college football. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into it. Florida Gators fans are celebrating their first win in SEC this season with a 29-21 road win against Kentucky, but it came at a price. Quarterback Felipe Franks left the game after dislocating his ankle, which ended his season, according to Coach Dan Mullen. Backup QB Kyle Trask performed well in relief, throwing 9 of 13 with 126 yards and a rushing touchdown, but the win was certainly bittersweet. Tyler, what does Frank's injury mean for UF going forward?
I don't think it means too much. Trask is a good backup quarterback. Him and Franks came in the same year together. He's backed him up ever since they first started. I think they still have these 2 wins against Tennessee and Townsend.
Yeah, Tennessee's a disaster.
Yeah, but then they have Auburn, LSU back-to-back, and even with Franks, I think those were both L's. I think their season's pretty much just going to be the same. I think it just makes the FSU-UF game at the end of the year even closer.
Okay, John?
Of course, it's a major blow,
Okay.
and we don't want to see guys get hurt that
No,
bad.
not at all. No matter who it is.
But Trask, to me, shows a glimpse of what's the future going to look like with him starting since Franks is out. The offense looked good to me. Heading down the road, like Tyler said, they will have like wins against Tennessee and Townsend, but we will have to see when they go against all teams like Auburn, of course Georgia. Let's see if he could perform in the big games.
Well, yeah, another thing I want to touch on, UF has won 8 straight, which is the longest active winning streak in the SEC. But, I mean, personally, I think UF, this was a blessing in a way because Trask just looked better than Franks had. And I would say that was probably Frank's best game, or that was the best a quarterback has looked at UF since probably Will Greer.
Dan Mullen also said that we're going to be seeing a little bit of redshirt freshman Emory Jones.
Emory Jones. You
And
want to
he's a
touch
dual
on him?
threat, and he's just a dual threat quarterback, 4-star recruit who's going to be the future for Florida. So it's going to be good for their fans to be able to see a little bit of him.
So, John, we know how the SEC is, best conference, whatever. But do we see Florida making another run? I mean, running it back into a New Year's Six Bowl and possibly winning it?
It's possible. I'm not going to rule them out, but it's possible because you got teams like, of course, Auburn, then you got UCF, and then there's different teams out there, so it's possible.
UF is still the second best team in Florida, but the whole thing comes down to they got it done with Franks last year. Now, if Trask is a better quarterback like he showed last week, Tyler, where do you see this offense going? Do you think there's just going to be more confidence? Because there's a lot of safe play calling.
I think we're going to see a lot more runs out of P. Ryan when it comes to UF. They're definitely going to be giving him the ball more. I still see them as at least a 3-loss school right now. I'm not feeling a New York Six Bowl from them.
So 3 loss, top 15, obviously,
I
because
would
of
say
SEC
like
bias.
two losses.
2 losses. I mean,
I think
for sure if they go to the SEC championship, they're going to lose.
They have Auburn, LSU back-to-back,
And
which
then
I
they
see
have
both of them losing both of them. Then they have Georgia later in the year.
But
I
see,
just don't see them even making
Are they
it.
home for Auburn? I know they're away for LSU.
I think it's home away, yeah.
Home away. I mean,
but see, I don't see.
and they play Missouri, which is always tough for them.
I don't see the Gators going to the SEC championship.
I don't either. I still think Georgia's the best team in the East.
Definitely.
But I think this
weakest.
Franks injury, I think it benefits them, honestly.
It's going to allow them to jumpstart their future,
Yep.
get to the younger people.
But I do think Trask's biggest test will be against Georgia.
Georgia, I agree.
The defense is elite.
And just the atmosphere of that game, so much on the line. I went there last year. Atmosphere is intense. And Georgia blew them out, and I smiled. All right. Now we go from one UF over to another. So we'll talk about Tim Tebow. He uttered some eye-opening comments on ESPN's First Take Friday morning. The comments came in response to the California Senate passing a bill allowing student athletes to make money off endorsements, a decision that Tebow was strongly against. Tebow, who had one of the highest selling jerseys during his time at Florida, did not make any profits off of his jerseys being sold due to the NCAA's policy regarding student athletes' classifications as amateurs rather than professionals. Tebow believes that allowing students to cash in on endorsements takes away from the special part about college football. John, what are your thoughts on this?
After listening to Tebow on First Take and just his reaction, I can agree, because now it's making college athletes, of course, before athletes will come in with the passion, playing sports, that's what they love. They doing this for their families or wherever. But as far as money, you're going to see more college athletes playing for money. And that's going to be their drive, which is, I feel like it's terrible. It's terrible because it takes away the love, the sweat, bloods, and the tears, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's so sad. People want to play for money instead of playing for the sport that they love.
So you want to stick with just playing for the sport?
Yeah.
Okay. Tyler?
I'm on the side of pay the players. I don't know if the way that California is doing it on the likeness and jersey sales. And if you're the best player, you're going to make more than the backup. I think they should figure out a system in which they pay college players evenly, equally, depending on what sport you play. I think they're not going to shift towards playing for the money. I think it's more playing for the security, because you see a lot of these college athletes come out here not making anything, come down with an ACL tear.
We can take Mackenzie Milton, for instance. He may never see a football field again, and not saying he was going to, for sure be an NFL quarterback, but he definitely made a great case that he could show up at the combine and put on a show.
And he's lucky. He's in a system that loves him, might bring him in as a coach later on. There's a lot of kids that don't get that luck, and once they're hurt, school forgets about them, lose their scholarship, and now they have no money to back up on. And I think we got to look out for these kids' securities and not think of it as, pay the players.
John, what do you say about that? Because they say money is the motivator. You don't think at all they're going to be like, you know what, I'm playing for the money, which is going to make me go harder for the love of the game?
I mean, if every athlete wants to pay for the money, then we're going to see people just have behind just doing it. Instead of just, okay, I'm just doing it because, my mom, my dad, family, grandma. So it's like a gift and a curse. Okay. Yes, college athletes do need to be paid, but on the flip side, it's like the drive. Is money the reason why you really want to play this sport, or?
Yep, I see what you're saying there.
So it's a gift and a curse.
Yep, I see, and I just think the more athletes we have in the game at playing at the top level, the better. But we'll see how this goes in California and see how it will go across the rest of the nation. All right, let's move on. This week might have been a little anticlimactic without any ranked matchups, but we won't have that problem in Week 4. I want to hear what you guys think about these Week 4 contests, starting with number 10 Michigan facing number 14 Wisconsin. Tyler?
I like Wisconsin in their running game in this one. Jonathan Taylor is the best running back in college football. I'm not a big fan of Michigan. They went to overtime with Army, so I got Wisconsin.
That was pathetic, yes. John?
I got Michigan.
Michigan?
Their defense is elite like Georgia's, but even scarier.
Okay.
Shea Patterson, great quarterback. I think he'll do big things against Wisconsin. Yes, it will be a close battle, but I got Michigan pulling out in a close one.
Michigan in a close one? All right. We got another one. Here's a big SEC game for you. We got number 8 Auburn traveling to College Station to face the Texas A&M Aggies. John, let's start with you. Who do you think is going to take this one?
It's a big one, but I got Auburn.
Auburn on the road?
I got Auburn. I think they turned their season around when they came back to against Oregon in the first game. Texas A&M, I don't think they got the fight in them after the Clemson loss. Auburn.
That was kind of embarrassing, too. Like, it wasn't really a game.
But Auburn's quarterback.
He's nice. SEC, whatever. We beat Auburn, though. All right. The one game with probably the most college football playoff implications on the line is number 7 Notre Dame taking on the number 3 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Tyler, give it to me.
I am never a fan of Notre Dame. I think
Agreed.
They're fake, big Power 5 school.
No, they play in the NBC conference.
Yeah, I think they play weak schedules and they get blown out in bowl games. They never show up to big games. Georgia's going to demolish them with their 1,200 running backs that they have.
1,200 running backs. John?
I'm going to go with Georgia.
Georgia?
I don't know if this will be like a blowout, but it would be like Georgia would beat them by 10 points. 10 points.
I could agree. I mean, Georgia...
Notre Dame's offense, they're decent.
It's Notre Dame.
It's Notre Dame,
it's just
yeah.
it's the hype every year. Oh, we're gonna do it, and then they show up to a big game and get absolutely blown out. I mean, who's a key player from that Georgia game that we should look at?
Fromm. I mean, he's the leader. They have too many running backs to be picking a certain running back that's gonna go off, but I think Fromm is gonna lead them to a big victory.
Quickly, John, just give me a player.
I got 2 actually. It's Fromm and Swift.
Fromm and Swift. Okay, I like those. All right, lastly. Undefeated UCF heads up north to face the Pittsburgh Panthers. John?
UCF is going to beat them in a blowout.
I like that answer.
Blowout UCF. No matter what the experts say, they'll try to keep the spread close, but I say by 14 at least.
All right, gentlemen. that's all for our college football talk. Be sure to keep sharing our Twitter poll, who will win tonight's Monday Night Football game match between the Browns or the Jets. And stay with us, because after the break, we return and we'll head to the basketball courts and the baseball diamond. Don't go anywhere.
Attorney at law, has your favorite team ever left you feeling sad, disappointed, or even a little angry? Don't you feel like you should be compensated for it? Just take a look at these real testimonials from my real clients. After Tyrod Taylor led the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, I was the happiest I'd ever been. And then the Bills traded him, and I wanted to die. But thanks to Dave, I found my will to live again. Yo, Kevin Durant's a bitch. When he said his mom was the MVP, I was so pissed. He put up 30 a game, not her. Same time, I knew my boy Davey would be able to get me some quick cash. Thanks, Dave Jeffrey. I've helped millions of people, and chances are I might be able to help you too.
I hate Jaret Jeffries. My whole family died in a car crash, but he gave all my money away to a Saints fan because of some blown pass interference call. Thanks, Dav.
Aren't you mad when KD went to the Warriors?
Nah, that's pretty chill. Give me a call at 888-888-888, crying emoji, and I can fix your sports misery too.
Please call the number on your screen today if you are experiencing any grief, sadness, or even if another fan has hurt your feelings. All you have to do is provide your credit card number, the 3 silly digits on the back, and the expiration month and year. This is not a scam. Doop-de-doop.
Yo, guys, I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Saints fan right now.
Dude,
I'd be so
guys,
I can't believe that ridiculous no call.
Bro, I'm puzzled. If they would have made that call, who do you think would have been in the Super Bowl? The Saints would have been in the Super Bowl. Come on now.
The refs, they need to be punished.
Oh, hey guys. Did you see my missed call last week? Could have sent that team to the championship. I guess not.
I can't take this anymore.
What's up with this guy?
Welcome back to HTF. Tyler Fellerman and John Anderson and I are going to switch gears and talk a little basketball. The United States' quest for a FIBA World Cup title ended Wednesday at the hands of France in an 89-79 loss. Overall, the U.S. finished 6-2, good enough for 7th at the tournament, their worst finish in any international basketball tournament since they allowed NBA players to compete in international competition. What's your takeaway from this tournament, John?
Am I shocked? No, I'm not shocked because heading to this tournament, the majority of the superstars from the NBA withdrew from Team USA, so you got a sense of USA wasn't going to be as good like they was in the past. So, but it's kind of crazy since this is like their worst since 2004.
Yeah. Tyler, you want to touch on it?
I think we're a young team that hasn't played much basketball together. I think the world is really catching up with the skill level. France has Gobert and Fournier. Luis Scola is still putting up buckets for Argentina. Jokic on Serbia. I mean, if USA wants to be back in that gold talk, we got to get some sort of superstar on this team.
I mean, do you think it's kind of, I don't want to say pathetic, but like upsetting that some of these big NBA players don't want to play for USA anymore? Like, I understand they're worried about their health, but like, they just don't want to represent their nation anymore. Tyler, do you think like that's a big deal, or is it right to protect your NBA career?
It's iffy. I mean, the superstars that we're talking about are LeBron, who's going into his 17th year in the league. Westbrook didn't go, but
Harden.
These are people that are getting new teammates, trying to figure out how they're going to be playing. I mean, Team USA was filled with all Boston Celtics players. That's probably why a bunch of them went, was to get used to playing with each other, know how each other work on the court. But I think if players were to sit out of the Olympics, we could start worrying about players not wanting to play for Team USA. But overall, I think we're good.
All right. Well, you know, we do have the Summer Olympics coming up pretty soon. John, do we think we'll see superstars come for that, or it's gonna be like this?
It's probably like the same results.
Okay.
But from now to then, we'll see.
I mean, also the Olympics, it's, you know, kind of right after the NBA season ends, so maybe, you know, players will still be in form of playing, but we'll see. Let's move on to the next question. Another disappointment came last week on the baseball diamond when Brewers outfielder and reigning NL MVP Christian Yelich fractured his kneecap, ending his potential MVP repeat campaign. Yelich smashed 44 home runs this year and hit for a .329 batting average, good for second in the NL right now. Despite his season ending 3 weeks before the season, should Yelich be the MVP still, Tyler?
If the season ended when he got hurt, he's MVP. But I think Bellinger's got it. He's got 2-3 more weeks to cap on his stats. He's going to pass him in home run total.
Yep.
And he kind of cooled off towards the end of the year, but I think just these extra 3 weeks are going to take him over the top.
John, what do you think?
I think he should be MVP. You know, this season I could describe it as historic. His home runs was like third in the NL. His batting average was second. So even though he injured his knee, which I think is very sad, I think he should win MVP just based off his historic season.
I mean, you could say Bellinger's putting up relatively the same numbers.
He's on the better team. Bellinger's team's a lot better to World Series hunt.
I mean, the whole word of value comes into, it's not even factored in because I think Yelich is more valuable to the team than Bellinger is. But then again, I mean, MVP is just a stat. It's a stat number. We've seen it in every single sport. The best stats win it. It doesn't matter how valuable you are to your team. But, I mean, it's going to be close still.
It's definitely going to be a close one.
Yelich is going to be second, I think, still.
For sure.
All right, let's move on.
It's a two-man.
As we mentioned, Yelich's injury could not have come at a worse time for the Brew Crew. The team is in the heat of the wild card race, sitting one game out of the second wild card, behind division rival the Chicago Cubs. With just a handful of games left in the regular season, every game counts. John, with 2 weeks to go, who's coming out and playing in that NL wild card game?
I got Washington and I got the Cubs.
Washington and Cubs. What, you want to touch on that?
The Cubs, to me, they look like they want to go back. They look like they want to go back to the World Series like they did 4 years ago when they won the World Series. I think like they're more hungry, like never before, and they're hot.
Tyler, who are your two teams?
I think the Brewers slide in there. They're four wins out of their last 5 games without Yelich. So I think they slide in there, and the Nationals.
The Nationals. So we're high on the Nationals. They get rid of Harper, start playing better, that kind of thing. I mean, so we're just gonna. I mean, who do we think wins that game though? Do we think like the Brewers, Cubs, Nationals? Who has the best chance? Or is it home team?
I think home team wins. I think Nationals are gonna pull it out.
Nationals. I think that would just be great for the Nationals story. Just kind of like the final goodbye to Bryce Harper, you know. But
I think Philly's even 4.5 games from that wild card, and Phillies and Nationals play each other to end the year. So
that's
going to be a good series.
That series will probably be decided. A sweep could lock it up for one of those teams. Let's move on to the AL. The AL wild card also appears to be intriguing down the stretch. The Oakland A's have won 6 straight and have moved into the top wild card spot, while the Tampa Bay Rays continue to surprise and maintain a lead for the second wild card. However, the Rays have 4 games left against the Yankees and Dodgers, while the Indians have a 3-game set this week against the AL cellar dweller, Detroit Tigers. Tyler, can the Rays hold on, or are the Indians going to step up?
My hot take is A's get in at the 1 wild card, Rays and Indians tie for the 2nd wild card and have to play a playoff to get in.
Ooh, I love playoff baseball. John?
I say the Rays and the A's.
Okay.
You know, I'm a big fan of the Rays, but it's kind of sad that what Tyler was talking about, the Indians, I don't think the Indians will make it. But the Rays, yeah, it's been a long time coming for the Rays.
It has been. I mean, it's tough, too, because I feel like if the Rays are in any other division this year, they probably win their division.
Definitely.
It's just the Yankees are so good. Who's their key factor for the Rays to keep this going?
Their bullpen.
Their bullpen?
Once we get into this part, everyone's bullpen is the major factor.
Yep. I mean, you've seen it, games won and lost from the bullpen. John, who do you think are the Rays' key factors?
I'm going to say pitchers. They're pitchers.
Pitchers?
Yeah, of course you got to have a great bullpen, but the pitchers. If they have like a great game, then they can help that team.
Okay. So we quickly touched on NL MVP. Just yesterday it was announced that Mike Trout will have season-ending surgery. Tyler, do you still think Trout put up a impressive enough season to win MVP?
Of course. It's a lock over there. It's going to be Trout's forever. He's the greatest of all time. Very underappreciated, but yeah, it's his MVP lock.
I want to see Trout win a World Series. I really do. John, you still think it's Trout's?
Yeah, Trout deserve it. Great season. You know, he's been putting up mad numbers throughout the years, and I think this is his time.
Okay. Now, we touched on both wildcard teams. John, which team out of any wildcard team has the best chance to make a World Series run and win it all?
Whew. NL, I'm gonna start with the Chicago Cubs.
Cubs experience. Okay.
Then AL, it's a hard one, but I'm gonna say the A's.
The A's. Why the A's?
The A's look strong to me.
Okay.
You know, their whole team as a whole, they look like they could do something, make a great run to the World Series. So that's why.
Okay. Tyler? I mean, the A's have won 6 straight. They're looking good.
Yeah, they won
your
6.
AL wildcard team that could win it all.
AL, I would have to go with the A's.
The A's.
Yeah, NL, I would probably say the Nationals because Scherzer and their pitching.
I mean, we've
if
seen
we're gonna
the
pick
Nationals time and time again get one game away and blow it.
Yeah, but now they don't have.
They don't have the choker, is what you're saying?
They don't have Harper in there anymore. So.
Okay, so let's just say, for instance, we get a Nationals-Braves series. You think the Nationals beat the Braves in a best of 7?
But if I'm picking a wild card team to make it to the World Series,
I know. Okay, but okay, so let's take our division leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Who's winning in the NL? Who do you think comes out in the NL?
It would have to be. Yeah, I would take the Braves over the Nationals.
I'm saying Braves or Dodgers. Who do you think looks better right now? Like out of the whole NL, the Cardinals.
Probably the Dodgers. I think they're the
Dodgers.
hottest team. I mean, we've been talking about them all year, and they haven't really slipped down at all.
Okay, John, Braves or Dodgers? Who do you think looks better going into the postseason? Braves. I like that answer. And in the AL, are we all on board? Yankees, Astros, one of those two teams?
I like the Astros. Just because I can't root for the Yankees.
I can't either.
The Yankees, hey, they look strong, so I got Yankees.
If the Yankees don't win, I really just think it's a disappointment. They have so much talent. But you know what?
The Astros don't look strong to me.
Oh, Verlander looks strong.
Verlander
We'll save that for another day. MLB is getting into October, best time of the year. It doesn't get better than this. When we come back, after the break, we will reveal the results to our Monday night Twitter poll and talk about what to expect from HTF this season. Stick with us.
Attorney at law, has your favorite team ever left you feeling sad, disappointed, or even a little angry? Don't you feel like you should be compensated for it? Just take a look at these real testimonials from my real clients. After Tyrod Taylor led the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, I was the happiest I'd ever been. And then the Bills traded him, and I wanted to die. But thanks to Dave, I found my will to live again. Yo, Kevin Durant's a bitch. When he said his mom was the MVP, I was so pissed. He put up 30 a game, not her. Same time, I knew my boy Dave would be able to get me some quick cash. Thanks, Dave Jeffrey. I've helped millions of people, and chances are I might be able to help you too.
I hate Jaret Jeffries. My whole family died in a car crash, but he gave all my money away to a Saints fan because of some blown pass interference call. Thanks, Dav.
Aren't you mad when KD went to the Warriors?
Nah, that's pretty chill. Give me a call at 888-888-888, crying emoji, and I can fix your sports misery too.
Please call the number on your screen today if you are experiencing any grief, sadness, or even if another fan has hurt your feelings. All you have to do is provide your credit card number, the 3 silly digits on the back, and the expiration month and year. This is not a scam. Derp-de-derp.
Yo, guys, I can't even imagine what it's like to be a Saints fan right now.
Dude,
I'd be so
guys,
mad.
I can't believe that ridiculous no call.
Bro, I'm puzzled. If they would have made that call, who do you think would have been in the Super Bowl? The Saints would have been in the Super Bowl. Come on now.
The refs, they need to be punished.
Oh, hey guys. Did you see my missed call last week? Could have sent that team to the championship. I guess not.
I can't take this anymore.
What's up with this guy?
Welcome back to Hitting the Field with Tyler Fellerman and John Anderson. We're going to reveal the results of our Twitter poll. And it turns out HTF fans expect the Browns to win tonight at 81%. Is that a surprise?
No, not at all. Donald's not even playing. Baker's going to have a better
They're not going to lose by 30 this week.
No.
Not going to lose by 30. No chance. They score more than 13.
Definitely.
Do you think Odell breaks out a $300,000 watch tonight?
Over under? I'm taking over.
Over under the $300,000 watch?
Under.
Under. Under? So 285 probably. I mean, what do we think for Bell? First time back in the national spotlight since his year contract holdout.
It kind of sucks because he doesn't have his quarterback with him, which means if you saw anything from him in the preseason, he said, I could take 8 carries, I can take 40 carries. Expect to see 40 carries tonight.
John,
from
what do you
Bell.
think? Because we've seen Bell stride when, we've had Landry Jones back there for the Steelers, like basically anyone but Big Ben. Do you think Bell's going to get the rock tonight?
Yeah, I think he will have a breakout performance.
I like that. I mean, wish I had him in fantasy, but, sometimes the draft order doesn't work out. Do we think the Browns, can turn this season into something playoff-y?
I mean, of course, the Browns going to make it to the playoff this year.
They will. That's a lock.
Yes.
You heard it here first. John's lock is the Browns will make the playoffs. Tyler.
I think the Big Ben news really helps him a lot in that situation. I think they can win 9 or 10 games this year, make the playoffs
9
as a
or
wild
10.
card.
Who's the MVP of that team then, John?
Oh, the Browns?
Yeah.
There's been arguments whether Baker, Jarvis or Odell, but most likely it's a hard one. It's a hard one, but I'm going to go with Baker.
Baker.
Myles Garrett.
I like that. Now, obviously the Jets are not making the playoffs, but is this a must-win game for the Browns to keep their season alive, Tyler?
Definitely. When you go into a game and their starting quarterback is not playing, you have to go away with a victory in that.
It's a must-win because coming to the season, the Browns had so much expectation with acquiring Odell and, of course, Sheldon Richardson, loading up their offense and defense, and drafting Greedy. Of course, this is a must-win game. If they lose tonight's game, then I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to say either. Because honestly, the Browns looked bad last week, and the Jets somehow looked worse by blowing a 16-0 lead
to the Bills.
It's going to be worse.
Yeah,
if they lose against the Jets, it's going to be worse than Miami.
You think it's going to be worse than Miami? I don't know if anyone can look worse than Miami. They're getting outscored by like 90-plus this season.
But we're talking about the Jets, though.
Let's take last thoughts, score predictions for tonight.
I got Browns 34-21.
35-14.
Browns, obviously. That doesn't surprise me. Did you know a $40 bet on the Patriots to win the AFC East will only net you 65 cents this year? Does that tell you? Like,
doesn't really surprise me. But
why would you even bet money on the Patriots? Like, I guess it's dumb to bet on any other team to win, but like, why would you even? Is it even worth 65 cents?
Not really.
No.
A gumball.
Ooh, 2 gumballs. 25 cents, or are they up to like 50 now?
I don't know, inflation.
Oh, man. This world's going to a hard place. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching the premiere episode of Hitting the Field Season 9. We have a lot of new content this season, and we can't wait to push it out to you. You may have seen our usual fix of UCF Nights analysts on our show today, but that's because we have our new UCF-only non-live segment we shot in our studio this morning. It's called Might I Add, and it's hosted by none other than Kyle, Might I Add, Partain. KP and his guest, Chris Wolf, talked about the UCF win over Stanford and chimed off on UCF volleyball and soccer. Expect that to come in the next 2 days or 3. We also relaunched a podcast. The HTF podcast is hosted by our producer, Jeremy Brenner, every Wednesday morning in the WNSC studio here in Nicholson. Be sure to check that out as well. And as always, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Hitting the Field. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. Tyler, last thoughts, what are you looking forward to this season?
Just seeing everybody's face back here was...
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up,